Welcome and thank you for joining us today. We are LLC, Long Lasting Change Consultants, presenting our proposal to guide Walmart in its recent decision to change policies on sales of firearms and ammunition. Walmart was started by Sam Walton in 1962 in Bentonville, Arkansas. The company has over 11,000 stores, approximately 1/3 of which are in the United States. This makes U.S. policy relevant to the organization's decisions for change. Most recently, the gun control debate and a shooting in El Paso, Texas, led Walmart to change its policies on gun sales.
The Walmart Corporation has a long-standing mission to save its customers money so they can live better lives. Because of this mission, Walmart's greatest strength is in the fact that the corporation will work diligently to provide its customers with a variety of products that meet their everyday needs. Walmart often implements initiatives to improve the quality of their service through customer satisfaction. Walmart has found customer and employee surveys to be the most beneficial. Walmart's top organizational weakness is in fact its size. The Walmart Corporation is big. In a company that exists in over 27 countries, employs over 2 million workers, and consistently averages revenues in the billions each year, their consistent growth and success actually has become their greatest downfall.
Moving on to Walmart's change sponsors and team, CEO Doug McMillon will be the change leader. The reason why we believe that Doug McMillon will be our change leader is because he is the current face of Walmart. The current face of Walmart's support in the change efforts is necessary to have a backup from employees and consumers. We believe that our change teams that will undergo training in the North Carolina pilot region will be comprised of store managers, assistant store managers, customer service leaders, and gun sales managers. These change teams are then expected to go back to their specific branches and Walmart locations and undergo trainings to employees at every location. Change proposal and schedule. Our change stages are based on Walmart's fiscal calendar. Walmart's fiscal calendar is broken up into 4 quarters, beginning in February and ending through January. LLC has proposed that the start date for the Walmart North Carolina pilot region training will begin in quarter 4 of Walmart's 2019 to 2020 fiscal year. This is the fiscal quarter where LLC will be doing most, if not all, of their work. After quarter 4, it is expected that an assessment will be undergone during quarter 1 of Walmart's 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. During this time period, we are hoping to notice the positives and negatives of the North Carolina pilot region, what needs to be changed, and what practices worked best for Walmart employees to handle customer reactions. Finally, it is the goal that there is a nationwide rollout of our proposal beginning in quarter 2 of Walmart's 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. It is estimated that there will be about 175 hours of work done by LLC. Based off of the 175 hours of work that was previously stated, our projected budget has a total cost of $19,500. The breakdown of our costs include working hours, which are charged at $100 per hour, travel, food, and lodging necessary for LLC members to go to the North Carolina pilot region, as well as printing, technology, and handouts that might be needed for training sessions. Our cost breakdown is only for the North Carolina pilot program, which is occurring during quarter 4 of Walmart's fiscal calendar. Any further phases that would undergo during quarter 1 or quarter 2 of Walmart's fiscal calendar that involved LLC participation would be additional charges and a different cost breakdown.
LLC discovered 3 supplemental issues that occur as a result of Walmart's size. Each one of these present unique challenges to the corporation goals of organizational change. Number 1, communication to employees. Walmart has been criticized for taking excessive amounts of time to precisely and effectively communicate company policy and practice change. Number 2, customer quality of service. With over 260 million shoppers each week, Stores need to be designed for customer convenience and shelves sufficiently restocked. Number 3, market trends, demand, and competition. Walmart must work nonstop to stay on top of global market trends, what their customers want and don't want available through the retailer, as well as what their local and global competitors are doing to potentially take revenues away from them. To alleviate past organizational issues, LLC recommends that Walmart implement new organizational change in regional store locations first. Regional stores will allow the use of targeted data to be evaluated and adjusted before incorporating further changes.
Making the change. When it comes to actually making the changes necessary to help Walmart as they move through this process of limiting the sale of ammunition and stopping the sale of guns to people under 21, LCC had to actually think through the actual interventions and process we were going to use to make the change. Following the example set in the course text and Bert, we decided that it'd be best for a pre-launch and then a change intervention section and then a post-launch activities, basically a way to break it up into 3 different sections. Later on in the presentation, we'll actually discuss the change model and organizational changes that are being implemented. But for now, we'll talk about the actual physical making the changes. First off, in preparing the organization or the pre-launch phase, we feel it's important to communicate the need for change, conduct initial analysis, and develop resistance plan. Later on, we'll discuss in greater depth how we'll deal with resistance. These are all activities that need to be taken care of before any change can even be initiated. We feel that communicating the need for change is important. There's going to be a lot of associates working for Walmart that may not necessarily understand the reasoning behind the new policy, or more importantly, how the change in the policy is going to affect them. We foresee a significant amount of customers being very unhappy about the changes in the sale of guns and ammunition. So to help them, moving on to our change interventions, we've identified 3 primary interventions that can be used to help make the changes at Walmart smoother. Number 1 is a sales associate training program. This will actually train the associates that work every single day in the sporting goods sections at Walmart how to answer the questions concerning the new program and how to deal better with customer interactions that may not go as well as they want. To aid the associates, we recommend a manager training program, which is very similar to sales associate program. However, it aids those managers in helping them identify the best ways they can aid the sales associates and how they can field even harder questions in case a customer comes forward to them and has questions. And the third intervention is a national media messaging shift. This is an all-out blitz on commercial and news media that would be Walmart putting forward their changes, explaining why they're making the changes to the sale of guns and ammunition, and why it benefits the community and their associates. And then finally finishing that up with post-launch activities. LCC will conduct analysis about how the changes have been, how the changes have affected the organization, and if further changes needed, any further support that the changes need to be successful, and continue messaging both internally and externally within the organization to reinforce the fact that the change was necessary, the change was appropriate, and the change has truly benefited Walmart.
LLC is exploring change and taking the appropriate steps to educate the teams. And the teams we're speaking about is the Walmart teams. And we have an open door policy, meaning we are sharing information with all Walmart teams. We're not hiding anything. Now, since we are taking the precautions to get everyone involved and to educate team members, we still think there might be a resistance to change. Now, what are these possible resistance to changes? Now, we think that because gun sales and gun policy is a very decisive, politically hot button issue that is definitely one possible resistance to change. Also, point of views of policy and how some people might say this is an infringement of their constitutional right to bear arms. We also thought that those who wish to hold on to status quo, maybe they are for or not for gun rights. However, change itself is something that is difficult for them. And lastly, we thought that those who work specifically within the sales departments of guns might be uneasy with this new assignment. Moving forward, we were trying to figure out where the resistance might come from and from what department. And the resistance by role, we decided that most likely it's going to be front of line employees. However, that doesn't mean that every store manager, assistant manager, department manager is going to be on board as well. You simply don't know, because this is a personal, value and decision. And then also back of house employees, that includes the stock team and the maintenance team. And lastly, by department, we obviously thought of the gun sales team, which might include the sporting goods team, customer service, because they will be dealing with those customers who have any concerns regarding the change. And lastly, the checkout team. So those who are actually scanning, I'm sure there will be instances where their customers are speaking to them about the change. And some strategies for change, we decided on using the base of the change model by Kurt Lewin, and that is the unfreeze, change, and freeze. But within that, we also looked at the Cotter's 8-step. And so within unfreeze, we decided that would be create a sense of urgency, creating a guiding coalition, and creating a vision for change. Here, it's truly about finding those people who are willing and wanting to go with the change and the vision of the change. And regarding change itself, we placed in communication, remove obstacles, and create short-term wins. And lastly, under freeze, there is consolidate improvements and anchoring the changes for having sustained change. In regard to strategic planning, we have a 6-month strategic plan. And within those 6 months, we plan to compile the initial findings of the launch with the Walmart North Carolina region. And we hope to be within the scope of work for the contract. If not, then we would have to reevaluate the contract at that time. And number one, we want to reevaluate the store performances. 2, evaluate customer feedback from both customers who purchased gun sales in the past and also customers who didn't, to see if their ideas of Walmart has changed at all. And also customer behavior. So has customers come in more frequently, less infrequently, and or has anything changed at all? And lastly, evaluating through front of line staff. So those who actually really deal with the customers themselves. In long-term strategic plans, we thought of 1 year, the executive outcome meeting with executives and measuring any customer and financial changes from the overall store level and also the regional level, and also any year-on-year changes. The 3-year, establishing the milestones from the project, any market updates. So did other stores follow suit with the same ideas that LLC had? And how did they do? And lastly, team updates and suggestions from the teams. The 5-year plan, we thought of long-term effects of change. And since we're thinking this is going to be a global, this will be a global process and policy for Walmart, we thought that we would look at a global stance as far as any change of sales in those who sold guns. And also, since Walmart is so large and so global, we would have to look at each region at that time.
Organizational development model and justification. To aid Walmart in this pretty substantial change, LCC elected to use Lewin's three-stage model of change. As we learned this semester, there are a near limitless number of change models and other techniques that you can use to help an organization through a change. However, since Walmart is such a massive organization, and there is definitely varying levels of understanding about the organizational change process present in Walmart, we decided it was important to use a model that was simple, a model that was easy to adopt, and a model that was less daunting and provided less clutter when briefed to organizational leadership. Lewin's model is very functionally similar to Cotter's 8 steps. However, the 3 steps and then 3 stages really breaks down the process in simpler and easier to understand methodology. As we learned earlier in the course, Lewin's 3-stage model consists of the unfreeze stage, the change stage, and the refreeze stage. Or simply put, in unfreeze, you ensure that the employees are prepared and ready for the change that's going to come to the organization. In the change stage, you actually make the changes necessary to have lasting change. And in the refreeze stage, you do a number of specific activities that ensure the change becomes permanent. Because no change is ever useful if the results are fleeting or only last a short amount of time. In this specific case, LCC has identified specific initiatives and interventions for each stage. In the unfreeze stage, we feel it's important that Walmart needs to get ahead and announce the end of ammunition sales and age restrictions, not only to their associates, but also to the world in general. This was discussed earlier as a media campaign to put the message out there about why Walmart is doing what they're doing. This will prepare the associates and hopefully prepare the public for the changes that are coming. LCC feels it's necessary in the unfreeze stage to demonstrate the gap in customer service preparedness that associates have in comparison to the coming backlash that will probably come after Walmart's announcement. And finally, LCC feels it's necessary to build a sense of urgency within Walmart to show them that this change is not only needed, but right. And it's necessary for them to safeguard their associates and the communities in which they operate the stores. In the second stage, the change, we actually implement the new associate and management training courses. As discussed earlier, the idea behind these courses is to help Walmart and its associates and managers prepare and handle upset customers or hard questions that may rise through this change process. In the final stage, refreeze, LCC will conduct follow-up analysis to ensure that the changes last. We will make sure that the training program is reaching the right associates and that managers are promoting the training program within the individual stores. Next, we feel it's necessary to create a training evaluation program to retain momentum. So Walmart can conduct their own training evaluation to ensure that the program meets the needs of the organization. And finally, I feel it's necessary to continue to tell the story of lasting change, to continue to put out the message that was put out in the unfreeze stage that this change is necessary. It's not only helping associates, but it's improving the community as a whole.
Expected outcomes and consequences. Of course, with any change, it is expected that there might be some consequences from them. LLC believes that our change proposal is successful if all change team members are properly instructed on how to handle the training process at all North Carolina locations. The training of employees is well received and lacks resistance. Employees identify as having confidence in their interpersonal relation skills with handling customer reactions to change. Customer satisfaction with employee relations is either improved or maintained at the same level before the change in gun sale policies. And finally, LLC's change proposal plan is able to be implemented in Walmart locations worldwide. With any change efforts, you also might have some unexpected or unintended consequences. LLC is preparing Walmart to expect outcry and backlash from members of the National Rifle Association, members of the hunting community, as well as customers who have a registered gun license. Our preparation practices have been focusing that managing the backlash from these specific demographics will require an emphasis on national safety and ensuring that customers and employees can always come to Walmart knowing that they will be in a safe environment.
Walmart has almost 60 years of experience navigating change while meeting their overall goal of improving customers' lives. Changes to their policy on sales of firearms and ammunition will have far-reaching effects. However, LLC believes that their recommended plan of action will successfully guide the organization through these changes and facilitate continued success.